Today, let's use this kneeling position to help us get to the start of the press handstand and then hopefully get you into the ideal position to do the press handstand. So first of all, we need to get comfortable in the kneeling position, transferring weight to the hands and shoulders and going up and forward slightly. So I'm going to place the thumbs right by the knees in this position, and then I'm just going to extend, push the floor away with the hands, transfer weight into the hands and shoulders. What we don't want to do is transfer weight backwards into the legs like this. Now it sounds silly, but a lot of people do that because that's very comfortable, and especially if you've got experience with things like down dog, as we're so used to sending weight backwards and then we try and come forwards, and it's a bit like a zigzag type movement. We need it to be more like an aeroplane taking off and going up and forwards. So let's transfer weight again, do a little bit of a hold at the top there. So thumbs by the knees, push up and forwards and hold. Make sure the tippy toes are nice and light now. See if you can get right up onto your toe nails. This is not so good, this is much better. That little change makes a massive difference in the height of the hip. Just going up onto tiptoes raises the hip up, maybe this far, and is literally a cliff edge like positioning. So you could be right on the edge of the cliff and you're not falling, but if you just go over that little bit, you're going to go up and over and hopefully float up to your handstand. We don't want to go up and over and face plant, and that's why we need to go up and forwards, not just forwards. So let's try that again, but imagine your feet are on scales, or you could actually put your feet on scales and then just come up, hold that position and try and make these toes as light as possible by pushing the floor away. We definitely don't want to be collapsed, we want to be happy like that. Now if you really struggle with that positioning of the shoulder when it goes further forwards, I drill like a wall lean. So externally rotating the hands, kicking up to this position, taking the shoulders forwards and backwards is really useful to develop that strength, as well as things like tuck planche conditioning, so you get really strong in that upper back shoulders scapular position. Protraction, upper traps, all of that stuff there just needs to be really conditioned, really strong. So we can do hold times, repetitions there. Now it's not just getting into that position, it's knowing what to do with the legs as you come up. So that first one I done was a pike press. So when I got up to that position, my legs went backwards, but I didn't stop. The pathway kept going all the way up to handstand. If we stop, it's going to get very heavy quickly. So whichever pathway we're going to go through, we want it to flow as much as it can. So the easiest one for most people is like a froggy straddle position. So when I get to that top position, so again, thumbs by the knees, come up, feet go around the outside, and then we come through the handstand. It passes through that straddle again, back to that position. Now I say froggy because some people don't have the flexibility to do that, and their feet go backwards too far that way. That makes it feel really heavy. So one way of getting around that is to frog the legs up, which makes it easier to get through the hips, but it doesn't take the feet so far in that direction. So we can practice that pathway with drills like this, the floor press. We can do eccentrics against the wall. Whoop, watch the wall. So eccentrics against the wall when we're up like this. Take that wall lean, shoulder lean position here. Bend the knees, roll through the spine to come down. Nice and slowly back down again. So just conditioning that movement, making sure the hip isn't clunky, and we're not trying to go for a movement that we can't physically do, because that's just going to knock us sideways and normally knock us out of the handstand. So a good way of doing it would be doing hold times here, 5-10 seconds, come back down again, and then trying a jump that passes through the pathway that we want when we do the press, back to the kneeling position, whichever one we're doing, and just do it for repetitions so we can feel the pathway and we can feel the positioning there and condition both of those things. Remember, the wall can be your friend, but just don't put too much weight into it. The best way to do it is to be here and go up like this, and then use the wall if we need to. But make sure if you are jumping that you are getting a lot of time in this position as well. If not, it will always be a jump and never a press. And if that is the case, we need to spend more time under tension through the pathway, and probably the easiest way to do it is to do that hold, to do that jump, and then finish with a very slow eccentric all the way down till tiptoes touch, and we lower with control. If you're after programs or coaching, check out my website or my app. If you're after more handstand content, check out this one. Stick any questions down in the comments, and I'll speak to you next time. Thanks, guys.